Om Shanti. So we've got some angels in the room today in the Romford Centre at Inner Space, and we've just thought we would do this in a spontaneous kind of a way, so that it's nothing planned. But the subject we're going to talk about is love versus expectation is the topic. So it's always been a burning question of mine from youth, that what is true love and what is false love, and why there's so many breakdowns of relationships, and why does harmony not last for very long before there's some kind of complications. And obviously karma will come into this subject of love, I should think, because someone can come into your life and be a major part of your life and give you so much grief that you feel like you've opened a door to a volcano, and it started so well. So why does all that happen? What is the most essential meaning of love that you can sum up in as few words as possible? Because when you read so many books, they'll tell you what love isn't, but then if that love isn't, then the love that is shouldn't have any kind of a breakdown. If love isn't something and they do the opposite of that, it should repair everything. In the world of spirituality, you would have thought if you've got the definition correct of what it isn't, then the opposite would be what it is. But it's not as simple as that, is it? No. So what I've gleaned anyway from my understanding is, because when from a very young age, from the age of 11 or 12, when I started to deliver papers on a paper round, it was I felt that there must be love behind every door, and I really craved love, really wanted. And I came from a very loving family, mum, dad, brother, sister, all very, very loving. Even our pet cat was a very loving cat, so everything was fine, but still I felt that there was more, that there was more of a need for something, and I couldn't quite put my finger on that. Has anyone else felt that?
I was craving for something more.
Yeah, the quest. There was a quest for love, and I thought it must be in people, because people are intrinsically, basically, as far as I can see, good, because they do have the best intentions. Even the most evil of people you can actually get through to, and you can see those people that have gone to death row even, where they're waiting for their comeuppance for the crimes. There's a certain humility in many of them, most of them actually, that then they talk to them and they're waiting for their death sentence to be carried out. There's a kind of humility and a regret or repentance that they did the thing without any kind of a feeling. So they were able to put their feelings aside, for that period of time when they did the deed, and their feelings came back to meet and greet them. So that's why I feel that it's in every human being, whether they're the hardest of criminal-minded, and they talk about pure evil, which I can't accept, never have been able.
Auntie, but these days love is all about what you gave me and what I gave you, and if you give me lots, then I have to give you back lots. And there seems to be like a very show, especially in social media, that look at, how big the flowers my husband gave me, or all these gifts that he gave me, or I gave her, and and obviously a lot of young ones fall for that and they think that is love. Um, I just feel that there's a lot of expectations now on young ones to um, buy love as opposed to feel love. Could you just expand on that?
I think it's more material. It's become more material love, isn't it? It's give and take. And you feel that you have to give. And if you can't give, then you feel really bad, or you will made feel very bad that you
Yes.
haven't done or given anything.
Well, if you show love for 5 days of the week and take the weekends off, is that acceptable for the person?
No.
Where they sort of, this is the worst 2 days of the week because they're not showing me love? Or will they say these are the best 2 days of the week because
and sometimes it's like that, isn't it? Like you give me those best 2 days and then I can live the 5 days waiting for the next 2 best days to come as well.
Well, in other case, you need to give your full 7 days to them. You can't even have even a few minutes of your own. I think that could be the extreme case as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's again, it's the expectation. So love become the expectation. If I love you, you have to deliver all I expect from you. I think that is.
So we're basically looking for a love that you don't switch on and switch off. They actually can't be switched off, aren't you? No matter what you do, no matter what you say, my love is switched on and it's kept on because of something that I'm getting that I can't get from external. Because I've tried to do it on the external, and if their switch is off and my switch is off, then we might say we love each other but we don't like each other, and that's not the way to go, because where there's love there'll automatically be a liking as well. A liking as in, I don't mean as a liking for any particular reason, because that was always the problem, wasn't it, when love became a reason, and if there are reasons to love, there must be reasons to not love, and that would dry the relationship out. So most people talk about what love is, and they'll show the flowers and they'll show the chocolates and that kind of thing. But really, if I give you the flowers, it's be for no particular reason, not because of a guilt trip, like many say, don't they? He's given me flowers, he doesn't normally give me flowers. What's he got to feel guilty about? What's he done, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, when these flowers are given, as soon as the gesture is given, because it's based on love, you should be able to burn the flowers if you wanted to in front of my eyes, because it's been given. But because my mind still holds on to what I've given and what I've taken, not necessarily in that order, these relationships become one of where based on give and take, but whose idea of what they're getting and what they're giving, and also am I getting from what I'm giving? Because if I'm getting and I no longer get that, will I stop doing that? So that becomes a condition, doesn't it?
So when did all this give and take business started, Andrew? Because I think in the beginning of the marriages, I think both husband and wife, they agreed to anything and everything they say to each
for
other.
better or for worse, for richer
the more
or for
time
poor.
they spend together, there is
In
more space in
sickness and in
between,
health.
isn't it?
Sickness and in health, as long as you don't complain all day. So there's always a condition.
But why did I start doing the give and take business?
It felt good. It felt good. It
that all?
touched. I think it touched that part of us that makes us feel loving. And if we feel loving, we feel more secure.
So why did I stop feeling loving then?
Because the relationship broke down from what I was getting or whether I was appreciated. So when the appreciation stops, I feel more like your servant, or you feel more like my servant. And it might just be that you have a bad day and I have a bad day, and we don't notice what the others are doing, the alertness to what the other person. It's almost too tiring to be alert because I've already had my energy exhausted by doing and achieving and getting from the outside world, to bring it into the family unit so that it can be shared, and so it has to be appreciated as well. And appreciation is a natural part of self-love, really, because when you know that what you love is what you are, it's not the actual thing that you love, it's the actual love that's manifesting. And we use that terminology, I really love this, we say. So we actually lose the appreciation of the, what do they call it, the abundance of love that's being given. And we say, I love to be with you, I love to go here and there with you. And obviously we forgot to just say, I love. So it became something else, then it became an additional, and that's where the expectation comes in. Because if I love to go somewhere with you, and the last time we went there we had a row, then I'll love less. So the love then gets hidden away inside, but it's still there. So it's just not revealed. So instead of actually knowing where it's being shown of the external, I should let it show and allow the love to manifest through everything that's done, whether the achievement is achieved or not achieved. I've got to love, because that's the thing that I need to show to myself, not to anyone else, to myself. And if that was self-love was there, then whoever comes in your scope, or even a stranger, would feel that love, would feel that warmth. No stranger would be a stranger. That would be the beautiful thing, because love becomes merged. When it has a reason to love, then it has a reason not to love. So it becomes one based on expectations, where I expect some form of return for you because I've been doing that for some period of time. Imagine I've been going on about the same thing day in, day out, and you keep giving me advice and I'm not listening to that advice because I'm caught up. Your love would make you peaceful, calm, because you're actually caring for the state I'm in. But because it's not that, it becomes based on a condition. Because I'm not. You've got to see me as appreciating you for your love to emerge, and I've got to see you to appreciate me for my love to emerge. But that's not what my love is. My love is very personal to me, and that's why we include God in the equation, isn't it? Because someone I can go to that doesn't feel the same as human beings will feel. There's always a breakdown of communications because they've only got a certain level that they can't get past. They can't handle a lazy person in the house all day, all night while you're doing all the work.
That's right.
Go on. Go on, say something. I don't want to steal the show. Go on. What do you think?
No, I was just because I had a difficult time sometimes as well when you have a lazy person in the house and then you feel that your love is being tested. That am I? It's a fine line, isn't it? Because you become disturbed and then the love stops flowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how do you balance? Because it is definitely not fair, isn't it? Because when you confirm that that person is definitely lazy and I'm the one who doing everything in the house, which I feel is unfair, and at that time I'm not thinking about love at all.
No.
So how would I use love here?
In the world of doing, you would never conquer it. In the world of doing, in the world of body consciousness, where I'm actually seeing, at the end of the day, I'm lying in bed and I'm seeing all that I've done, working around that person, and it's a real wind-up when they get on their phone and they're speaking loud. When you're working around, they might even say, "Can you switch the vacuum cleaner off?" Because I'm speaking on the phone, and you've got these levels, these layers that are being removed. So in the world of body, matter, you would lie in bed at the end of the day and you would be thinking about all that you've done and what they didn't do, and it would keep circulating in the mind, and that person may even be laying next to you, and they're getting all that negativity. So it's going to cause an argument because that energy, and they obviously have that energy towards me, because they wouldn't just be laying there in a loveless, because it's a loveless, isn't it? Loveless state. Just laying there. They must know when they see me working. I mean, we did it when we were children, and our mums and dads, my dad went to Ford's, and he was next to burning himself out with the workload that he was taking on. And my mum also went to work, and my mum would walk a mile to save a penny or two, never take the bus anywhere. And then we come back and we're playing around and tormenting each other, and then when she gets wound up, we have a little giggle. Well, that's what it was like, and we called it love. Nothing further from love, really, the appreciation that goes on. So you're looking for an awareness, really, an awareness of something that's in you manifesting while you're doing what you're doing, so that being something interferes with doing. The more you can make it interfere with doing, that's a great thing. That's why we have our traffic controls, isn't it, where you actually stop and reconnect, because we're so connected to what we do and who we do it for as well. That's another thing, isn't it?
But how can we know these things? I don't think that we have that much power to just ignore that. Oh, it's alright, carry on doing everything on my own, and I just ignore that person who's just sitting there and ordering me.
Yeah.
I don't think I can carry on every day like this.
No, because it'd be like a pressure cooker effect, wouldn't it?
And one day
which is unhealthy.
Blow up, and then few more days build up and then blow. So and that can carry on for years. But then I think at some point everyone wants to stop this, isn't it? Because it's not healthy for the mind.
No, it's right. Someone just went to get me water and realised I had some. Thank you. You would actually start with yourself, because you can't actually change their energies, because I'm doing it with a motive, because the motive is to make them cooperative with me, and I can't work like that. I've got to change me, change something in me. You don't have to become a perfect angel, but you'd probably just be sitting in as early morning as you can and just processing that God loves me. That God loves me in an unconditional, pure way, because I'm his child. So you'd actually be manifesting that love to make you feel the feel-good factor. So that because the difference between human love and God's love is God's love makes you more detached from the drama, whereas human love makes you more attached to the drama. So when you're more attached to something, you get more emotionally involved in not what they're doing, but what they might not be doing as well. It's not just what someone does, it's what they could have done, might have done, if they had any respect for me. And obviously your worth is going to go right through the floor. And at the lowest point, if you feel like someone's servant and you're used and abused. And that's probably because we've got such a strong relationship with people. And it's only actually in our mind, because if they was to leave the body, we would still be having a relationship with them in our mind. So it's in the mind, it has to be repaired. And I can only do that by actually processing the more non-attached love that works so well. If that makes sense. Yeah. And also attached love has a great deal of ego behind it, what I did, when I did it, how I did it for them. And there's a whole script, a whole dialogue of how much I did for someone when they were in that situation, when they were at their lowest ebb, and now all of a sudden I'm in a similar situation and they're not there for me, and that hurts, doesn't it? So I mean, real love doesn't have any pain, but learning love again does have a pain because you're out of your comfort zone. It's actually comfortable body conscious love.
So
Meeting and greeting.
Worldly love is connected with the expectation.
Yes.
But the real love or the spiritual love,
yes,
there is no expectation.
No.
And there is no motive even there to help someone or to show that you care. Not even that kind of expectation from yourself even.
That's right.
With the spiritual love.
Yeah. Because you're not really looking about what love is and what love isn't, because we've heard all that before. And if there's a reason, it's a condition. Whatever reason, even a mother to their child, the reason is it's their child. They don't feel the same about everyone's child, do they? Only their own child. And that's a reason. So when you actually look at what is and what isn't love, you don't really need to define that. You just need to know how attached or non-attached your mind is. If your mind is very attached, then that's where the confusion will reign, because the situation's over and it's still going on. Isn't it? The person did that. Like it talked about someone that's lost something 17 years ago, and the person came to come and pick up the rest of it that they gave to them that has been laying in the garage, and it hurt them a great deal because it's still raw. So it's obviously still an attached mind, because that situation is long gone, isn't it? 17 years. That's a long time. And then, of course, when the soul leaves the body and takes another one, it doesn't take the actual thing that happened with it, it takes the feelings with it. So it will become as attached to its new mum, its new role, as it was in its past life. So you're actually sorting out lives here by understanding how attached the mind is to something. And then again, that can't be helped, but you actually have to start training your mind like you're teaching someone soul consciousness. Just like we would talk to someone else, you talk to your mind as if it's your student, and you talk it away from an attached state to a loving form that is omnidirectional. Good wishes for all.
So as soon as I expect something from someone, I have to remind myself that I'm not loving.
Yes. Yeah.
No expectation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's the analogy you could do, that as soon as expectation comes in, I have to remind myself that I'm not being loving.
And also you would process that as if I see someone that's in a terrible state, who's down on their luck and everything's going, as soon as I see a quality in them, I'm giving them love.
That's very good, isn't it? Because normally when I have something against you, and if you are in down state, I can't see anything good in you.
No.
even though you're going through very bad times. But in my
Is
head,
there something you want to tell me about that?
not at the moment. So I think that's another is that can take good courage, isn't it, to see something good in someone I don't like or I don't agree with. So that's part of love as well, isn't it? Well, I didn't know that because we only show love to the people who we normally like, isn't it? It's always very.
See, I can't repair a relationship if I'm seeing you the way I see you, because that's the way I see you and the way you see me is the problem that we're having. That's the main problem. So I've got to start seeing you in a different way and start to see your qualities. So because when people do have a altercation with each other, they see them in the same light. Exactly. Next time and next time and next time, and it slowly and gradually whittles away any good feelings between people. Whereas as soon as I see their quality in them, I brought that between myself and the account, so the account is healing between the two, and that's a loving. You're showing a token, a gesture of love by just seeing their quality, because lots of people help each other out, and then because they're dependent on the role they play to help them out, they leave that person without power. But when you see a quality in someone, you're actually inspiring them for them to change their situation, because lots of people live and thrive on this kind of self-love because they create a position of a guide, a helper, a teacher, someone that doesn't feel the pain that goes on in life, someone that can handle everything, someone that's strong. And by me just giving advice, someone that's giving advice is that I'm not actually inspiring you until I see the quality in you and give. The advice is just the token. The quality that you see makes that work for them. So I'm actually what we call donating virtues.
See, I don't even have to speak the quality.
No,
I can just
time,
have to just see the quality.
Yes.
Beauty.
Yeah,
is in
see the
eye of
beauty.
beholder.
That's it.
Yeah, so you don't have to
That's
even tell that person that you have
No.
this quality.
Yeah.
You just feel their quality. I think
And that
that's
reaches
the
them, isn't it? The feeling, the
it's
vibration.
a subtle,
they will pick it up.
subtle vibration.
So whenever I've had, they could be from a distance as well, if ever I've had an altercation with anyone and I see their quality in my mind's eye, if we ever speak again, then that will have already done a lot of the work of healing the pain and the distaste that went on during that altercation, because there's a lot of negative energy.
But what if I don't see any quality?
Oh, you will. You will. It's
You
a
have to train
seeking
for your
you
brain.
shall find. There's a quality in everyone. Yeah, it's just a matter of searching for it. Some people have used that, which isn't very nice, but they say, I suppose someone loves them. I suppose their mum loved them, like that, because they can't actually be bothered to look. So they actually say that if they was to really look, they'd find a quality in everyone that shines. And when you get that feeling of their shining, then I don't feel the same towards them, and you'll find that they don't feel the same towards me, because it's healing. So that's kind of like an incognito form, which love is, the greatest donations are incognito donations. The more someone is doing and donating, and the more they make a song and dance about it, it's more about them. And karma gives them the least fruit as well. When I say what I did, when I did it, how I helped, how I supported, I'm actually eating the fruits of karma. And if I'm getting the good return of karma, then other people will actually feel better in my company as well, because it becomes an inspiration. Normally the people will inspire another person, providing it suits them. but this is not about me. This is about you and healing between us. So it is about us, but it's not about just one person anymore.
But there shouldn't be any motive though that look by looking the quality in you, I'm changing you. There shouldn't be that motive even. But I think that's where I'm talking about, isn't it? Because when you have complete opposite relationship, then it's very hard to see the quality. And when you handle your mind and try to see the quality, but still your mind come up with this motive that, well, I'm only doing this because hope you feel the same love, hope you change, hope you can try the same or something along that line. So I think it will be very hard to break the cycle of the worldly love which we know. And I think that the only thing, like you mentioned earlier, that only God can change my heart and my mind about the love, and then I can apply on the others. Because I find it because while you were talking, I brought one person in my mind, and it definitely didn't work. Because I don't think it will work, because it will be very hard to break that
Barrier.
Break that barrier or block we have between us.
It's why self-conscious love works, because it hasn't got any conditions or reasons, because you're actually feeling that your non-attached state is actually drawing that love. I'm no longer a beggar of love, going out searching for it, looking for people to compliment and appreciate me. I'm actually manifesting those things myself, because it's role-less. It's not connected to the role, it's connected to the soul. So, when you actually get that non-attached state, and that's why we do emphasise that, everyone should feel very separate to their bodies and have those feelings of being bodiless. And the stronger those feelings of being bodiless, the non-attached state allows the love to flow. But until that non-attached state is there, then there's a blockage. So I'll then search for that love to balance myself out, because I feel imbalanced. And I might, make a phone call, tell someone about my news, and they're not that interested, but they're busy, rather than me feel smited, rather than me feel let down. And that's the difference between the attached state. I found, like you said, a motive. My motive is that they also appreciate, just, like some people, they get all excited about winning the lottery, don't they? And that person they're phoning hasn't won the lottery. I've got such good news, and they say, oh, what? Because they think it includes them. And maybe they're thinking you made the call to give them a little bit to pay off their... And no, I didn't phone you for that, I just phoned to tell you. So your love for me would make you feel that I'm doing all right. I'm lucky, aren't I? And all your things. It was like when when I saw this man with his 4 wives, and one of his wives had just had a baby, and they phoned from the hospital, and the wife answered the phone. Surprise, surprise, there's 4 of them. 4 wives, 23 children. And when the phone call arrived, the wife at home had to pick up the phone and show that she was pleased. And she had tears coming down her cheeks. She said, oh, that's wonderful news. But it wasn't tears of happiness. It was tears of something else. So you can always tell tears of joy, because they trickle slowly. And when you have tears of sorrow, they trickle very fast, because the head is like a sponge with lots of emotions in it.
Pumping fast, isn't it?
So when it's pure love, there'll be tears like pearls of love. And when there's tears of sorrow, it just flows. And that's only because I'm attached to a particular concept. In that situation, the wife feels left out because she's relying on her husband's love for her, and she's signed an agreement that we share our husband, which is a good thing because you don't see him for 3 nights. I mean, you only see him 1 night in 4. That's a good thing, isn't it? So we say.
That's a good thing.
So we say that each soul has 5 vices, 23 children, so that's 23 times 5 vices. Then you've got the husband and wife who've got 5 vices each, so that's 10. That's 10 more. So how many is that? So happy families, eh? And all you're doing really is you're breaking the backbone of negativity by, can't emphasise it enough, a non-attached, bodiless.
Because he was breaking the bone of husband.
Yeah. No, that will happen later. That will happen later as the attachment grows. Yeah.
I think that's very good that we need to change the description of love or the feeling of love, rather.
Yeah, we do. Because the feeling of love is normally something you keep showing of care and kindness, gentleness, warmth, appreciation, cooperation. You've got to be cooperative to prove love, but you don't. You just have to be in a more non-attached state, and all those qualities that love. You break down love. I've never actually done it, but if you was to actually write down the qualities of love, where you have kindness, care, gentleness, warmth, consideration, respect, appreciation, it's huge. It's huge, and you know what love isn't when you know it's an attached state, and you know what love is when you're in a non-attached state, because you're allowing it to work.
I think love is acceptance, isn't it? Accept everybody the way they are and then just make the most of it.
Yeah.
Whether they help you, whether they
Acceptance
do any housework, whether they clean the floor or whether
it makes no difference really, because your example is another part of love really, is that when a person is working round a person that isn't doing anything in a person's life and they're just lazy and can't be bothered, they're the feelings that I'm emanating, generally speaking, isn't it? But when I'm actually not in that state of being, then it's an inspiration to them. I'm doing it for the sake of love, really, not for their sake,
just
but
getting
for
on
the
with
sake
it
of
and
love.
not for the sake of them or for myself. I'm just doing it because it's there to be done.
Yes.
And not creating any sorrow about it or not particularly very happy about it. It's just like neutral state of mind.
Yeah, I've seen that actually. I've seen the laziest person get off the couch and help.
Yes.
Because that was me. And I didn't actually want to, but the inspiration and the example was so strong that I couldn't help myself but help. But you feel it, don't you? You feel the burden in your mind. Yeah. I mean, when that goes on, when they're doing it actually premeditatedly and they're actually on strike inside to get at me, that's a very poor state. That's really the proof that love has left the building, isn't it?
Yes.
And all that's left is an attached form of love, which is in words, gestures, from time to time, and then again not all the time. Battery saver needs to be turned on unless we're going to finish, the phone says. No, I've just pressed the not now on the battery saver. But anyway. Yeah, well, I think it's got enough oomph for... Should we do a meditation commentary?
Yes.
And just leave it there?
Okay. Can we have some comments bringing love? Bringing God
into it.
Into it,
yes.
Please. I think that's what we need.
all thoughts turn within, and I become aware of myself as the eternal soul within the physical body, just a guest to the role that I play. And I become aware of myself letting go of the feelings of the body, and like a shooting star of light flying away from the physical form and going on a spiritual journey beyond this world, beyond the pull of the elements, beyond the pull of the past. I let go and fly away to a world of golden red light, where God, the Eternal Father of all souls, resides. I am a child of this being of love, is like myself, a very subtle, infinitesimal point of light, radiating love towards me. I am like a child in an ocean of love, an oasis of light, and He brings the best out of me, and my loving feelings emerge from deep within the self to the surface, and I feel that I love this one, and I love everyone. My light, His light, become the light of love for one and all. I realize that the reason why I lost track of love, because I forgot that I am the embodiment of love. Love has lit my light of love and become my love light for the entire world. Shanti.